Hi, it's Cameron back again just to continue for part 2 of my favorite 52 albums. I did the first 26 of my Desert Island favorites. Now I'm going to do part 2. As I said before, it seems like a lot of these were my earliest ones I ever collected. So, without further ado, King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King. It's an 80s reissue, originally from 1969, I believe. In the Court of the Crimson King, King Crimson. Great South African artist from late 60s, early 70s, John Congos. I have both of his albums that came out in Canada. I know there's many more that came out in South Africa. Fabulous songwriter. Here I'm cheating. I don't have the original Walkaway Renee, but I have the Left Bank, and suddenly it's Left Bank. Great pop. I'll have to pick up Walkaway Renee one of these days. This is basically the Walkaway Renee album plus a few other songs. Now this one from 1966 is good Beatlesque kind of music with I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. It's Liverpool 5 Arrive. I really enjoy this. This puts a smile on my face whenever I listen to it. Liverpool 5 Arrive. Another great album. A little harder. Lollipop Shop. Just Color. All these albums put a smile on my face. It's one of the first records I ever got when I started collecting. Lovecraft, Valley of the Moon. I know a lot of collectors prefer the H.P. Lovecraft, but I really like this soft rock. Lovecraft, Valley of the Moon, I believe 1970. 1970, yeah. Another great band out of eastern states but settled in San Francisco, Mad River, self-titled album. I have their second as well. Amphetamine Gazelle. It's a really drug-fueled song, really crazy. Mad River. Now, as I said, I didn't really collect much of the big names on LPs. Most of my big name artists are on CD, but anyways, here's a 80s reissue of Paul McCartney Ram. Similarly, an 80s reissue of Van Morrison Moondance. That came out in 1968 originally. Neon Philharmonic, The Moth Confesses, with Morning Girl. That's the song I just absolutely love. And then Morning Girl Part 2. That came out in 1967. Here's an interesting commune hippie band from Canada. From 1970, Perth County Conspiracy Does Not Exist. This is pretty common in Canada. I'm not sure how well it's sold in the States. I have Alive as well. Now this guy, I don't understand why he's always in the cheap bins, but I just love his operatic voice. Shaun Phillips. In this case, I have maybe 7 or 8 of his albums. This is Contribution, one of his early albums. I could choose any of his albums. I just love them all. Okay, for big names, first album by Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, 1967, Interstellar Overdrive, and a lot of pop songs. This guy, I just love his voice. Supposedly, he was originally considered for Led Zeppelin, but passed on the opportunity. Terry Reid, Move Over 4. I think in England it's just called Terry Reid. Real soulful voice. Here's a Canadian folk artist, now deceased, who I saw at our folk fest the very first time I went. Stan Rogers, 1980, Fogarty's Cove. He does sort of Maritimes sea music, sea folk, so folk from the sea areas, the coastal areas. Great deep voice. His son lives in our city in Winnipeg, continues making folk music today. That's Nathan Rogers, is his son. Now the Sapphire Thinkers, From Within. Great pop. Psych pop. This is one of my all-time very favorite bands, the Dutch band Savage Rose, their first album. 1968 with Anisette. There's some good videos on YouTube featuring them playing, I guess, live. Bert Summer, who played at Woodstock. Self-titled album. What year was that? 1970. I love his song Jennifer, which isn't on this album, but that's what he sang at Woodstock. Spirit, 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus. Good sort of jazzy rock. That came out in 1970. Now some compas music. I believe from Haiti. Tabou combo with Inflation. The Masters. This is about 1975. Singing about how to keep partying in the midst of inflation. This really gets me moving. Tabou combo. Inflation. Sing in multiple languages, including Spanish, English, French. Okay, this is a reissue from the 80s of 13th Floor Elevators. Traffic, Mr. Fantasy, 80s reissue, originally from 1967. The Steve Winwood. Again, one of my very favorite albums of all time. Travel Agency on Viva Records. Totally diverse songs. No repetition at all in the song style. I don't know why they only had one album. They're just fabulous. Travel Agency. Second last, United States of America. So a second Joe Bird album, basically. Symphonic rock. And my final one, I think this is number 51, not 52. But anyways, doesn't matter. Who's Next? From The Who, 1971. This is an 80s reissue. I'm looking forward to seeing The Who reunion in May as they come to Winnipeg. I saw them about 9 years ago when they came. Really thoroughly enjoyed the show. Maybe they're not The Who of the 60s, but they still put on a good show. That's all for now. I hope that you enjoyed my Desert Island albums. This was part 2. Please watch part 1. Leave your comments at the bottom. Let me know what you think of these albums, and maybe you can make your own video with your Desert Island albums. Try to make the same number of, or choose the same number of albums as your age. So I'm 51. I chose my favorite 51. That's all for now. Have a good day.